Ever wondered who's really behind the decision to hire you? Well, it's not just one person. So today we're going to dive into the mysterious ways of the hiring decisions that are made by different companies. Top of the morning, everyone. My name is Tshidi and I'm back with a brand new video. With over 19 years experience in recruitment, I'm going to tell you about who makes the final decision to hire you for the next job. Number one, the hiring manager. Well, it's right there in the name. This is the final decision maker. The hiring manager is the person that makes the decision as to whether they would like to hire you or not to hire you for the next job. They would be your next direct manager. So this is what the hiring manager is all about. It's the person that the role belongs to, the person that's going to give you the tasks, the person that decides whether they think that this person is going to be the right person to actually come and join the team and add value to that particular team. So it's very important that any meeting with your hiring manager is one where you can connect with them and you understand exactly what their expectations are. That is why it's important to always ask the question that says, what are some of your biggest struggles in the current position that you're looking to fill? It's important that you impress the hiring manager because at the end of the day, it is never just the recruiter that makes the decision as to whether you get hired or not get hired. Number two, human resources department, what most people would label as the gatekeepers. Now, human resource department has got different teams that play different roles. The reason why they call HR personnel gatekeepers is because they are the ones that need to filter through candidates and make sure that they find the right candidates that will be first in front of the hiring manager. The hardest thing about being a recruiter is that in most cases, there are certain candidates that you know that might be really good for the job, but at the end of the day, remember, the final decision maker is the hiring manager. So the hiring manager still needs to decide whether they actually get along with you or that they don't think that you'll actually fit into that particular position. So as much as the recruiters are normally the first people that you interact with and people that you normally speak to, 99% of the time, they're not the decision makers. In most cases, you'll find that they need to filter through hundreds of different candidates. And once they filter through those different candidates, they need to do a screening call. And in that screening call, because of the fact that it's that name that they put in front of the hiring manager, you need to make sure that you impress the recruiter in that first call. Once you've done that part, you get into the next phase, which is to meet the decision maker, which is the hiring manager in that particular scenario. So in most cases, you'll find that yes, some companies will have one interview and then the decision is made, normally by the hiring manager, but you'll never find a situation where the recruiter decides on who needs to get hired by the company. It's normally by the person that's going to be managing that particular candidate. For example, think of HR as the first line of defense. So HR's job is to make sure that, first of all, they protect against getting candidates that do not have the skills that the manager is looking for. Once that job is done, the next thing that you now need to do is to actually impress the next person, like I said, which is the hiring manager. Number three, the interview panel. Now, the interview panel could be a different range of people. Some companies will always invite your peers or people that you're going to work with into that particular interview just to make sure that you can get along with those individuals. Some companies will also invite other managers from other departments. So it's very important that even if you've impressed the hiring manager as well as the recruiter or the HR team, it's still important that the people that you're going to work with are people that feel they will get along with you. If they don't feel that they will get along with you, 99% of the time that they will actually stop that process. There's been scenarios where the best candidates don't get hired because they got into the next meeting with peers and unfortunately they didn't feel like they could get along with the team that they'll be working with. So in that scenario, it also stops. The other thing that sometimes happens is that if you're going to be in a manager position, they'll always invite the team that you'll actually be managing into that particular interview. So this is to make sure that the team can get along with you as you'll be their manager going forward. So that is why impressing the panel is also very important. In your case, what you need to do is to make sure that one, you impress the gatekeeper with a very good CV. Number two, you then still impress that gatekeeper with the first round of interview that they will have with you. And then three, make sure that you also impress the hiring manager because like we said, even though you're going to go through other panels or other interviews, it is this individual that still needs to come back and say, yes, we would still like to hire Tshidi. Number four, senior management. Now, senior management is normally called in for strategic alignment. Strategic alignment is where the company has decided this is the route that we would like to take. And in some cases, when they need to hire certain people, they need to make sure that those people are actually going to add to the strategic intent of that particular company. So in some cases, you'll find that you'll meet all the people that you might need to meet, and they'll still say, we would like the head of department to meet you, or would like the CEO to meet you, or would like the director of this to meet you. This is all because they want to make sure that you'll actually add to the strategic alignment of that particular department. Because sometimes you'll find that the head of that department has got a specific intent or they've got a specific requirement from that team to deliver on certain things. So it's important that you also still then impress the senior management. Now, what sometimes happens is that you go through such a great interview and everybody's like, oh, brilliant candidate, brilliant candidate, brilliant candidate. You get to the senior person, they're like, we don't think this person is actually the right person. And you ask why? Well, we don't think they're at the right level to be able to deliver what we're going to require them to deliver. This is because, according to the senior management, you do not meet the strategic alignment of what they expect the department or that team to be able to deliver. Number 5, the candidate. Yes, you also have the role to play in actually being hired for this particular role. Candidates play a very important role in this process. Where the candidates are required in this process is that as a candidate, number 1, make sure that your CV is really spot on. I've got a few videos that I've done about how to prepare your CV, so please check them out. Make sure that your CV stands out. Use canva.com to make sure that you create the best CV, and please don't listen to anybody that says Canva CVs are not read properly by the ATS, because you export those as a PDF. Any PDF can be read by an ATS. So number 1, make sure that the CV stands out. Number 2, as a candidate, you make sure that you do enough research about the company. Not doing enough research, unfortunately, will always leave you on the outside. So please make sure that you do enough research. Number 3, make sure that you actually really work hard to impress first the recruiter, then you impress the hiring manager, then you impress the panel that you might be part of, and then once you've impressed the panel, look out for the senior management. And always remember that at the end of every job interview, if you can, send out a thank you email to the panel or to whoever actually interviewed, but always make sure that you highlight a few specific things that you love about that particular interview, or a few specific things that you've learned about that company that you think will be always standing out when it comes to that process. Who makes the hiring decision? So at the end of the day, these 5 people makes the hiring decision. However, the person that everything goes back to is normally the hiring manager. So once all these interviews have happened, everybody takes back the information back to the hiring manager and gives them the information that says, I think Tshidi has got 1, 2, 3, or I don't think Tshidi is able to do this, I don't think Tshidi is able to do that, I don't think Tshidi can do this. This is where they give them the feedback, and then at the end of the day, the hiring manager then says, you know what? I've taken all your feedback into consideration, except for the senior leadership. I've taken all your feedback into consideration. But because of where we want to go with this company, we would like to hire Tshidi. Where we go wrong in most cases is that recruiters, instead of giving you the feedback to say, hey, listen, unfortunately, you were not selected, or you are the right person. We as the recruiters take 100 years to give you that information. And that is not what we should be doing. So my next conversation with you guys in the next video will be about who makes the financial decision. Top of the morning once again. My name is Tshidi, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, peace.